into the mirror too long, the reflection becomes your gaze. Your eyes blind to the fire beneath. But this ascent is a lie. A spiral in disguise.
Yo, what's good? Imar here. We got bad news. We got no round. And well, you may be asking, what is going on? What is going on? Life happenings. I got a job.
What's up, guys? How are y'all doing on this fine hump day? Wednesday, as it would be called. Yeah, this is the Dubstep World Cup stuff. So like, I'm the judge of this whole competition, and I guess that's the stuff that I need to judge. I kind of spoiled myself a little bit, but it's just like a few songs I need to judge. But yeah, it's gonna happen tomorrow at 4 p.m. EST, I think it is. I'll double check that. So if you want to see me judge other people's music really harshly, then yeah, I'm gonna be doing that. But I'm a little salty because the last judging they did, they just didn't let me know, and so I didn't even get to judge things, even though I'm like the main judge. But it's whatever. It'll work itself out. I'm doing good, Basty. How are you doing? Can't wait to get into yours, because guess what? Yours is the first one we're going to be looking at. Oh, lovely. It just does not see my screen. There we go. Oh, cool. Yeah, also, on the TikTok thing, I've been trying to stream on TikTok, and I just simply cannot, I guess. You need to have like 1,000 followers to even start streaming, and then you also have to have a face cam. But you know, there's probably a workaround up for that. But the first thing to get to is 1,000 followers on TikTok. So if you aren't following my TikTok, go ahead and do that so I can post live streams on there. It'd be kind of fun. I think people on TikTok would be like really degenerate. They'd probably send like their fucking little fonk thing or something. I get a lot of people from Twitch who just like send themselves rapping over a beat. It's like, yeah, cool, man. That's awesome. Anyways, oh, hold on. I gotta get my notes first. My notes. Okay. Let's get started.
drift into other worlds.
Oh, damn, dude, nice shit. Um, yeah, you only wanted mastering feedback, which I think you put on like every single submission you sent me. Um, but the master, gosh, it's like hyper specific things on the master that you give feedback on. But overall, the biggest thing that stood out to me is that it's a really bright mix, and so it kind of helps with making it really energetic and kind of flowy. It feels like Death Step. Death Step has a ton of it's like high end and harshness, and it's really dry too, which um is kind of strange given that a lot of dubstep when dubstep was popular was really wet and a ton of reverb and stuff. Even today, there's a lot of reverb being used in dubstep, but dubstep is like really dry, and I think you made it sound good, dry, and sound full. Uh, but it was just a bit too much high end, honestly. For my taste. I think your kick is really nice. Your snare, um, it just feels a little weird here. It's a well mixed snare. It sounds cool, but it feels like an overused snare. This is like the really simple snare you would make that works in like a lot of songs. It just doesn't do anything for me. It just feels like a snare that everybody uses, not really particularly interesting. Your kick is pretty nice and clicky. It's just, a kick. You can only make kicks so unique. But it works for what it is. It's just a snare at this point. You could try making like a higher pitch snare, just like pitch it up or something, or find maybe like a Mefuse snare if you have like their snares, or uh Cone Sound Noisia. They have some pretty bright snares that sound a lot better than this one. But it's a bit out of the realm of talking about mastering. I think in this area here, where the drop actually hits, the build before is pretty lacking. It didn't do the drop justice, so you need to build up the build up. Uh, that's funny. Uh, just build up more energy, have some more layers on top. I think the execution of it was well. It just needs a bit more energy to be put into it because the drop is really nice and loud. It's just a bit more than I expected. You know, the build up made it seem like it was gonna be a very dull and slow kind of song because you have the chants going. They're playing like half notes or quarter notes. You have like a chant playing quarter notes, and you have like anvils being hit or something. Like the flow here is very just quarter notes. Like I feel like it's gonna be a really slow, dragging song, but it's not. And it just the build to just reflect that, I think, in whatever way you see fit. But it was executed well. Uh, those are my notes. So we'll move on from that one. Good shit as always, Basty. Y'all should support him because it's fucking cracked. What is up, Young Quiver? Do you need to be a patron sub or anything for feedback? You can be a free member and then submit it that way. There's a form in there. You just need to be like a free member. You don't have to pay. What did you beam with OMG Siren Head? It just gave me Siren Head vibes. Like the intro. That one in particular just sounded like Siren Head. I kind of imagine myself like in a fucking log cabin or something. It's raining. You hear that shit. I don't know. It's really silly when I talk out loud of it, but it just gives me the vibe of Siren Head. I'm not even a big Siren Head fan, bro. What's up, Nomura Dubs? I mean, that's just a compliment to your world building. It worked pretty well. I will say that, okay, I'm going off mastering again, but in the middle, it felt like it was a bit too long. Nothing else really happening. Just, you know, atmosphere. You already built that atmosphere, just reusing it. That's my only other issue. Okay, other stuff. From that one. Right, we have Espen. Espen, are you here, brother? Brother, are you here? Oh, fuck. Okay. Just right off the bat. It's like kind of my whole life, but 2 years dubstep for producing. Oh, you've been producing for your whole life. Okay. Only switched to dubstep as of last 2 years. I have a mixed tune and a somewhat early whip, but I'm not sure which one needs more feedback. Haha. Send whichever one is the most recent. If it's the most recent one, it's probably in the early enough stage for you to like make changes to it to where it doesn't like cost a lot of time and effort. So just send the most recent one. That's what I would do. What is up, Espen? Your track is on the chopping block. All right, let's get into it. Damn, brother. slowing down. Damn. Sounds like I sat my ass down on like a leather chair or something, like a leather seat. I'm like scooting around on it. It's like what that, that sub bass sounds like. Nice and little like squelchy. Okay. First things first. This is like the most simple feedback. It sounds like this is just copy and pasted 3 times. Like these are 3 different drops, and the build up and intro to them are the exact same. I think that should obviously be changed. Put a little bit more effort into that. I don't think you were like wanting it to be like that, but it just has to be said. I can't just leave it unnoticed. I like the little glitchy thing he did in the intro. Honestly, it's pretty sweet. You can make a little tiny beat out of that. Let's make it like some kind of like beat in the intro that plays on, and then has this. This section lasts too long and it's really uninteresting. Honestly, I would cut this entire thing. I would put that probably before this little beat section, this little glitch part, and then it would flow into, whatever this is, the build up. I think it'll be a better flow because you're starting off like instantly in the glitch zone and you have like a bunch of crazy sounds going on. It's really cool and it grabs your attention, but then it gets to this section and it's just like confusing. Like, what exactly is happening here? I don't know. Not doing anything with this idea. It just immediately goes into the build up, which has a different sound palette entirely. I would just make that change. Also, that hi-hat I put in the notes is really harsh. You need to change it. I know what kind of hi-hat that is. I don't know the name of it, but it's like basically noise, Honestly, I would gear away from that. Those kind of hi-hats are sounds so boring. Have a cool ride or something. I like your little fill here. Really nice and decorative, actually. The only problem is there's no like pre-drop that's there for you to remember, and also it's like at max volume. You need to have some space. I think the pre-drop being a drum fill is okay, but you need to have that space somewhere. So possibly just add a fake out that is just between the space between the kick and the snare, or the kick and the kick clap thing, and like add a vocal or something there so it's like memorable. Otherwise, the impact of your drop is really nice. It's really, really, really full. And I think it's given. You have a ton of fucking distortion on it. It better be full. But the main thing, it's a really nice sound, and I feel like it works best here. There's sections I think it's just falling apart because like trying to do some adjustments to it, and the distortion just isn't acting the same uh way as you'd expect it to. So I think it kind of has diminishing returns the more you use it later on. But for here, it sounds great. Also, props for having a nice tonal part of the bass that isn't fucking destroyed by distortion. I applaud that. That's a really good decision you made. You have a really distorted bass that has all the width and the white noise and the bass going crazy, but you also have just a really clean tone that's not being distorted at all. It just gives it flavor and gives it character. So really good job on that. I appreciate the fuck out of that. Now the other thing too, this is kind of in the nature of how this kind of bass is made. You just put a shitload of distortion on it, like, and this type of distortion isn't just like a regular curve. Like it's not just like a soft clipper. You know, it's not just rounding off. Usually distortion like this, they have a little bit of oomph to them. They have either like asymmetry or they just have random points like a wave shaper or something. This type of distortion is really messy to work with. And so when you have really messy distortion like this, it becomes really hard to shape the sound. So imagine you're trying to make like eighth notes or something with this distortion. It's going to be almost indistinguishable from any other rhythm because distortion is just so overblown. It's bleeding into other sounds. My solution, this is like pretty specific to this kind of sound design too. My solution would be to stem it out like your entire bass for, I don't know, like the first drop, and just cut up sections. So let's say you want to have a quarter note, okay? So you're gonna take one part of the bass, you're gonna cut it up into quarter note length, and then you're gonna repeat that quarter note. So that way the distortion kind of acts in a more uniform way. Like it's not just randomly blipping in and out or causing random distortion. It kind of has more of a I don't know what you call it. It's just more uniform and more like an expected kind of sound. And also, I mean, you have more freedom to add other effects too. That's just one of them. You could also add a low pass. That's something that Space Laces does a lot. Is he adds low passes to a lot of his sounds. Just get a pretty steep low pass and carve out the rhythm more. So it's just not everything is just blasting your ears with high end. Like some parts are more swept toward the low end, has room, and it adds more tension in the high end. Just having tools to shape your sound more is always better. The other thing I'm concerned about is the low end being really hard to manage. I can imagine it being really difficult to mix the low end in. This is where people usually like go to a sub, like a dedicated sub of some sorts. I like the tone of the sub you have here. It's really fucking distorted. It's like basically white noise or like just brown noise, I guess. Just noise in the sub. Like there's no clear note, but I don't mind it. Like who's to say, you know, what note it should be? Like I don't really care. It sounds cool. It's a nice texture. Uh, just gotta be really careful. It sounds a bit messy for right now. I don't exactly know the solution to cleaning up the low ends. Uh, you could probably add like a notch in the low mids or something to try to help. But it's just like a thing that I can only imagine what the solution could be. It's really just anyone's game, really. Like your guess is as good as mine for how to fix the low end, but maybe a notch would help. Who knows? um, keep going. Oh yeah, the clap. So this is a contrast issue. Your bass is really high end and crunchy and is demanding all the fucking space in the world. Your kick is doing good because it has, sidechain, has all that room to breathe with the transient. The transient clicks through really nice. You can hear it bright as day. It fits really well. You did a good job mixing the kick. Personally, I would probably use a more like crazier sounding kick, honestly. It's like a thumpier, like gosh, what do you even say? Like a kick that has room on it, like reverb. It's not the best, but it's just a personal preference. You can keep this kick. It's totally fine. The thing that definitely needs to be addressed though is the clap. The clap is just being drowned out completely. I would either replace the clap or just add more high end to it. The high end is the thing that needs to stick out more. It needs to be a crispier clap, a more harsh clap to compete. The mids sound good though. It's either that or just make it louder. Those are like your three options. Replace the clap, turn up the high end, or make the clap louder. Yeah, in this part you can kind of hear the bass is starting to diminish because it's just a fucking wall of noise. Like, you need to shape this part. This part too, you hear like a subtle rhythm being made by your tonal part of the bass, but the noise part is not following through. It's just kind of just there. This is a little bit better, but still, I would just use a low pass maybe. But yeah, I mean, pretty fucking solid song. Maybe the master's a bit too loud as well. That could also be an issue. I would turn down decibel, perhaps. Yeah, really sick shit. Crunchy as fuck. It's a super dope crunchy bass. It's the only Agony clap. Oh man. I need to make more claps. Claps are really fucking sick. It seems like nobody else knows how to make good claps. I'd be going through claps, like clap samples all the time for like Tear Out or Dubstep or something. And like almost all of them are just really lame. Straight up just a 909 with reverb on it. Like, are you serious, bruh? Are you kidding me, bruh? Where's that from? It's from something. Anywho, move on from that one. We got Kaizel. Kaizel only wants feedback on mixing and mastering, and that's it. Wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This guy? clap is just snappy as fuck. Okay, I'll skip to the end. I'm like trying to just think about. Let me see mastering. It's hard. That show's great. I like it. Okay, this is kind of teetering off the mixing part. These Smack drums don't fit the vibe that this song is giving off. The snare as well. You have a very dry, synthetic sounding song, and I think it would fit better if you just had regular, like, synthetic drums, other than just having a big, giant reverbed drum set. Okay, so I don't know what you call that sound, but like the sound that sounds like you're spinning the wheel of fortune, that thing, it's like tickling my ears, but not in like a good way. It's just really harsh in there. Uh it's hard to fix those kind of things. I don't know if it's playing a rhythm. Wheel of Fortune wheel sound. I I think it would sound better if it was made into a rhythm instead of like a note, because it feels like it's playing a note, but like really far pitched down, which I think is a mistake. You should just make it into a rhythm. Maybe 16th notes or something. Or even just like 16th triplets, perhaps. I think it was at like 24th notes. I don't know. I'm not a fan of subs that are like this big giant square wave. I just kind of hate those kind of subs. Um, just boost the fundamental. Like just make the first harmonic louder and then add a little bit more saturation to it. When you have like a square like this, um, the following harmonics, the third and fifth harmonic, the odd harmonics are in a square wave. Those are all really loud, and it takes away from the sub. Like the second, or sorry, the third and fifth harmonic are taking up space from the first one, and it's making it quieter relatively. It's gonna physically take up more space, and I you should just not have that. Uh, Bases like those have their places, but in this one you have a really busy arrangement. Your 808 or sub, whatever you want to call it, does not need all that information on the low mids when you have all this noise going on and layers happening at the same time. it's gonna work just fine with a regular sub. Just add some saturation to it. You don't need to add too much, but you want the first harmonic to be the strongest out of all of them. Um, if you look at like the harmonic series, the first one is always strongest, but it's like a mathematical logarithmic curve, if that makes sense. Like they dip down in volume like a certain percentage per harmonic, relative to the first one. But the first one should be substantially louder. The sub is pretty. Gosh, I'm so torn on this. It kind of sounds cool, but I'm torn on it. I think I'm torn on the fact that it's like fast. It feels like trying to do like a Murata thing where it, like spams in and out like a respace really fast. Maybe, I don't know. I love it and I hate it. I'll just say, just figure that section out. Um, I have something in it that I don't like, but I kind of like it at the same time. So I don't know. I'm unresolved. Right here, that bass, that like chair swilling bass, I can hear some pitching artifacts. It sounds like it's being pitched down, and like the high end is being cut out because it's just not a high enough quality sample. So just you need to fix that too. Um, it just sounds really obvious and very unpleasant to hear a sound like that. And also it's being pitched like stretched, and I can hear that stuff too. Try to make it not as noticeable. See, these drums are what I was thinking. Like these are pretty synthetic drums. They're kind of leaning towards the hip hop side. The snare is just like a fucking Cohen sound snare. I like it, but damn. This very much fits the vibe more than having a cinematic drum set. That rim shot is clipping and it hurt my ears. You should turn that thing down. Who is calling me? Scam likely? Oh, fuck yeah. You want my social security? Here you go. Anyways, the rim shot needs to be turned down. Either that or you need to have like something on the master that can catch really loud sounds like that. I typically use like a clipper or something for that, but honestly, just like a limiter to catch something that's above 0 dB would be nice. It's probably just for that snare, just keep it down. But it is definitely clipping, which is the issue. I think I get why your sub isn't hitting that much. It's because your low end's really busy. Um, your kick is like hitting the low mids, but not really the sub that much, strangely. Um, and you're having a difficult time trying to mix between the sub. I feel like this would be a good case for like a ring mod sidechain. I think that would work really well on this. Your kick is just also very distorted as well. It's clipping into the master and just really loud. It's drowning everything else out. Your sub isn't really even playing that much, which I think contributes to it. But it's also just drowned out by fucking everything. I mean, yeah, that's all I really have for feedback for you. I think I got through pretty much everything I want to say. But yeah, thank you so much for submitting. Good shit. Hope that helps. And now we're on to Sorgaro. Wow, the submissions just absolutely piled in after that one. It's not there. Did I copy it right? Yes, I did. Oh, it's another one. Paxiva? Honestly, I was stun locked by how much is going on. Okay. This person only wanted feedback on mixing, sound design, and mastering. So we're gonna give him that. Um, obvious one. The master is just too loud. It's clipping way too much. Your drums are getting fucked. Your clap is getting fucked in the ass by the low end. Your basses are all just squished and bricked. Like they don't have any tonality to it. Other than like the one synth you had in there. Um, gosh, all the basses are incredibly mono. There's no stereo width to them at all, so they're really bright, but they're not feeling big. It feels like the basses are like some kid beatboxing in front of me, like directly in front of me, like my ears right there. It doesn't feel big or like massive or energetic. I feel like it's just like fucking kid in front of me beatboxing. That's what it sounds like. So you need to widen up those basses, give them some reverb. They're also dry as fuck. Like imagine a kid that's been in a desert for 12 years and he's like beatboxing and sand's coming out of his mouth or some shit. That's what it sounds like. You know, wet it up, hydrate your basses, make them wider, make them big. And it just needs to be a bigger sound. So many things you can do to help that. And also adding all distortion just contributes to be more dry. It's dry as fuck. Salt is nice, but too much salt makes you fucking thirsty, doesn't it? Um, and your bases are so busy. Like it feels like a really busy arrangement. This is gosh, I'm going off again. I'm going off on other things that he didn't even want me to do feedback on. I'll just like make this quick. The arrangement is really messy, and I feel like I couldn't have even a second to understand what rhythm was happening. Simplify the rhythm, make it easier to follow. It's too much on my brain. See, I'm stupid. Okay, you're playing to a dubstep audience. I can only process one thing at a time. Uh, I mean, this is also just a really short submission, and the entire drop is like mostly the same. They all has the same issues, so there's not really that much else to comment on other than as I already said. So, uh, thank you, Sir Garo, for submitting. Hope that helped. Um, yeah, I hope I wasn't too mean. Yeah, but thank you for submitting. Yeah, I hope my feedback helped you and keep me updated if it did or not. Who do we have this time? Oh, we have another Aspen. Is this the one that you? Oh, it's the same one. Okay, it's not the same one twice. I think you said that in the stream. Alrighty. Nomura, you are next, Bubby. Yo, what's up, Neo Chrono? What the hell? Hey, yo. Hey, yo.
Te voy a estar.
¡Cállate, mierda!
Hell yeah. I don't know what the fuck that robot guy said, but it was awesome. I did. Yeah, this is sick. I liked it. I'm a sucker for like this 2000s Y2K fucking rave kind of shit. I love listening to Newfory. Their stuff is some of my favorite stuff ever made ever in the history of ever. Same thing with kind of like Porter Robinson. Ghost Voices has been like my go-to. But something about just like a dry ass saw wave, offbeat basses, and For the Floor just gets my body going. So I love stuff like this. Um, also, I saw you put SK emojis in the chat. I never thought I'd fucking see someone putting SK emojis. I think it's SK at least. Who knows? The main comments I have are related to like really minor things, but they're like weird things you did. I don't really understand it, but I'll just tell you what they are. So here you have a really kind of a bouncy kick, and this is really good for like offbeat stuff. You're using it correctly and stuff. Sounds great here, right? And then it turns to that kick, and it just confuses me so much because it's like a total tone change. That one's really bouncy. The pitch bend goes down. It's a pretty long decay. So it just feels really bouncy. I don't know how else to describe it other than bouncy. But it feels like something pitching down constantly, basically, like an old school style kick. Those aren't realistic sounding at all. And then he goes to this other kick that sounds really realistic. Like when you think of an actual kick, acoustic drums, the pitch does not change really at all. Like it just kind of sits at one area. It's just on and off. That's what a realistic kick does. There's no pitching going on. And so you go from that to a really like realistic sounding kick, really thumpy. You know, all the characters in the thump part of it, and the very deep low end, and then also has a tambourine on top of it, which is also contributing to it sounding really off. I personally would not put that kick there. I would rather put something like an impact sample, like a deep kick impact sample, or a sub drop would work better. I think this is kind of moving on from that, but I think your drop is lacking a build up. You're not really building any energy from this or adding any suspense. It feels like you were halfway through having some kind of bridge here. Like the section of it, you have pads, you have a bass, kind of playing long sustained notes. Like this feels like, okay, I started dancing and I'm chilling out now. And then before you know it, the drop comes in, and then you're really surprised and you have to start dancing again. The build-up could fit in here, this little section here. Yeah, you could definitely do that, but it's just not there, and it's really weak for what it is. Like your drop hits really hard. The build-up should also have that energy, making it more exciting. Um, one thing you can do to get away from that is you can have everything just pitch up uniformly, like 12 semitones. So it would kind of remove that melodic component to it and get you ready for a more atonal bass drop, if that's what you want this to be, like an atonal part. That would contribute that and it'll make it a lot easier. It also build up the frequencies and make you feel like there's going to be something heavy hitting up. There's being more drums that are going faster, more risers probably. Just a lot of layers I think could work in this. A high pass too could work. Making it a little bit mono could work as well. But you just need to make this build up more intense and impactful. Your pre-drop is also really lame. I have to say it. You have all the reverb just bleeding into it, and then a reverse crash cymbal, and it does not work at all. The reverse crash cymbal would sound like it's going into another four in the floor section. The reverb being tailed out is just bringing back the melodic component. Like you're making it seem like there's gonna be a melodic drop because there's that tail that sounds like it needs to be resolved on the root note. So that's the implication it has. Just cut it off as soon as it goes into the last bar. The reverse crash cymbal might be able to work if you have other layers on top of it, but you don't for this. So I'm just doing it for what it is. Also, I'm even more confused because the kick that you used here, you're not even using it in the drop. So why is the kick even there? It's a completely different kick. So you just added that one. I don't really understand the point on that. Unless it is the same kick and I'm just like stupid. Rather, your mix is pretty nice here actually. Just because the trance section for the kick, I think the kick just doesn't fit this part if that's what you're talking about. Otherwise, just elaborate what that means. Yeah, the kick does not fit the trance part at all. All the parts of the trance are like very synthetic. Putting a realistic kick like that just right there with no introduction or lead into it sounds really jarring. So that's what I mean. Your mixing is good for the most part here. It's just a bit loud into the master, and it's not really the loudness actually. It's just dynamically, it's like too saturated. A lot of background layers. You have a lot of stuff going in the background. Just kind of making noise. They're sitting kind of well in the mix. They're pretty wide, like how they should be through in the background. I like how it goes into melodic. Sound design's good. But then you have this part here, which I don't know why it's so loud. It should be quieter than this because it's almost hitting like 0 dB. Like it's not that intense of a section. This is more like an intermission kind of. This part makes sense why it's so loud. Fine. This is another part that didn't sit well with me with the kick. The kick just seems like it changed again and it doesn't sound right. I would rather you, if you grab the trance kick over here, just put it over here. If you can put it over here and probably just like a low pass or something, that would probably work. Or band pass or something. Sounds on here is really cool. It just seems a little bit more empty than the last one. A lot of new elements coming in and out. It was a lot more intricate detail in this one. It's just more like a quarter note just playing. So just decorate it a little bit more. That's all. Yeah, and I totally do not like the snare switch up here. It sounds really, really forced. And also it's like clashing really hard with the tonality. You have a clap that was just here before and it's really like in the high mids, really airy, really full of space and reverb. And then this dry ass motherfucking snare comes in and thinks he's the boss and thinks he owns the place. You kind of established a very like transient kind of sound. Like your kick is really transient based. Your clap has a lot of transient in it, but then your snare has a lot of body. It's too demanding in the mids. Either get a snare that's way less like mid heavy, that's like higher up in pitch, or doesn't have like a that much of an intense or a long body, or just keep the clap. And this is a bit of opinion, but my intuition here is just to add some melodic components. I kind of thinking of like Sizzy. I can't remember what the song name is. It's like on their newer EP. You probably know what I'm talking about. But like that's the inspiration I'm getting with this. Adding some melodic components in here just as little fillers. Sprinkle it in there. It would sound pretty good. Most definitely, actually. But yeah, I mean, your mixing isn't really that much of an issue, to be honest. I think it sounds pretty good in place. So yeah, thank you for submitting more dubs. Hope you learned something from my feedback. Eric's, is that your name? You submit on a form on my Patreon. You can just sign up as a free member, and you should be able to have access to the form on the Patreon. You're welcome, Nomura. See you more. This is pretty fucking sick. Like I said, this itches a spot for me for sure. It's kind of worse for you because it means that I'm gonna be biased towards like liking everything. Yeah, good shit. Who do we have next? Oh fuck, we have Neo Chrono next. Oh fuck. Oh no. No. Hydra dubs. Who is this guy? Wow, look who's there. Nomura. Look at that. Oh, look, it's in Mari. Wow, what's going on here, huh? Fuck is this about? You guys are gonna stage a coup against me? Think you can fucking beat me? Wow, so touching. Damn. Yeah, good as shit as always. Let's talk about the parts that fucking sucked and were awful and bad and awful and shit. This is just kind of like a pet peeve at this point, but respaces, man, it's just always the same. Nothing changes. It's just boring to me to hear respaces. I'm just kind of over it. I like respaces, but damn, they're so overused. I have to knock points on that, bro. I'm sorry. Why not just have like a fucking offbeat bass or like a dotted 808? Something interesting. Even just like add a small rhythm bass. I don't know. I'm just tired of hearing respaces all the time. The kick in the drop, it's just a little too loud. It sounds like it's really a mid-heavy, which sounds like it's like the transient doing all that distortion. Instead of like turning down the transient, which I wouldn't usually advise, I would just turn it down. And probably even the opposite. Like if you turn up the sub, it might sound better, but you have to compensate by turning it down. Anyways, so just turn down the kick and just kind of listen for it distorting, because right now it is distorting and doesn't sound that great. And the bigger thing is your basses. Your sound design recently has just been like so much asym distortion, asymmetric drive, and it's not doing anything for me. It's a really nice gritty bass, but it should have its moments. It should have its moments where it's nice and gritty, and then it should go back to being a clean bass. Like, there should be a point where you're like, you want to switch the timbre up, you know? It doesn't always have to be crunchy the entire song. Have some parts crunchy, have some parts not. Just turn the dry wet down on the bass or something. I think it's a really easy solution to that. The best example I have is my song Labyrinth, because this green bass is really gritty and crunchy, but the other basses are not at all. So it's like a good balance and contrast. I feel like that's just an easy and simple thing to do. Other than that, your song sounded great. I didn't have any other complaints about anything else. So yeah, good shit, well mixed, well mastered. Please change the reeds. You probably won't. It's the final master, so whatever. Anyways, yeah, thank you for submitting. Hope you learned what little information I had to provide. Thank you for submitting. I was listening Neo Chrono in my chat. Next we have Quiver Dubs. Quiver Dubs, are you in the chat now? Mr. Quiver. Thank you, buddy. What's up, Quiver? All right. Let's get this show on the road. Ow. Wow, it's loud already. That's pretty good. The clap fading in here is really awkward. It just, it's really faint and then it just suddenly becomes really fucking loud. But it comes loud like before this fill, which is really weird. Your buildup is just too loud, by the way. It's taking up all this energy and space, and because of that, your drop does not hit hard at all. Like it just sounds like everything's the same level, and yeah, it's just not any good impact on the drop. Also, your sidechain here is really weird. It like it's sidechaining really fast, which is always pretty much bad. Actually, why are we even sidechaining on the buildup? Just don't do that. It's like always a bad idea to sidechain the buildup. Let it be. You don't need to have the cleanest fucking kick in the world for your buildup. Just let it be. It's a really short pre-drop too. Like it's like half a bar. There's like no tension here either. Like your kick hits at the end of this bar or half bar, and there's like an impact white noise thing, and then you have like a riser coming in, and then the vocal, and then just immediately, no fake out or anything, no suspense, no tension, so immediately hit in the face with a bass. I don't feel like it was impactful at all. Like it just felt like a continuation for 16 bars now. And it sucks because this bass is actually really nice and pleasant. I don't know about the fills though. Those fills are kind of you have a nice flow, you have a nice bass going on here. It's easy to follow. Granted, it is a little bit on the weaker side. I feel like it can add some more elements in here. See, this is what you needed in the first part of the drop. This fake out here is what you needed. Something like that to where there's actual tension. Do you notice? You can even see this in the waveform. Do you notice how much quieter this part here is? And you can actually see where the drop hits. That is not only a sign of how much dynamics are in here, it's also a sign of how much tension you're building up. And now this drop, you made the second drop hit harder than the first one because you utilized tension way better here. And tension doesn't have to be just like a fake out or a pre-drop. It can be anywhere you want it to be. You need to just manage it better. You need to have contrast. If you want to have loud parts, you gotta have quiet parts too. You can't just have the entire song be super loud all the time. I like your clap too. Your clap just sounds really good. Yeah, your bass might be leaning too much on the low end here. It just sounds really rumbly. It's just if you add any more layers onto this, like a background super saw or like a vocal, offbeat vocal, just anything, it would just immediately be drowned because your tonal parts of the bass are so quiet compared to the sub. Your sub is way overblown in this. I had to admit though, it does sound really deep and heavy. I kind of like it, but there's some conflict going on. There's some actually. This is a better way to think of it. It would sound better with less elements if it was more dry. This drop sounds really wet, but it's just not full enough. So when you have a wet kind of drop like this, where it's a bunch of reverb everywhere and like width, that's kind of what I mean by like a wet bass. it kind of implies that's gonna be more. There's more space, more energy, uh, in the song. So I would like recommend like adding different elements, like even fucking percussion. Like who knows? Put bongos on there. It might work, but it can also work if you make it drier and make the solo part stand out. So if you got rid of the reverb or at least automated it to where you could like have it go in and out, it might work better for you. There's a lot of people who make like really dry music and they hit really hard, but that can work. That probably wouldn't. It's up to you. I'm more critical to songs like this that are just one bass and they play it out the entire song, because you have one bass, you're obviously not going to have the diversity in sound or in pitch, and it's really hard to make one bass interesting, so you have to do a lot of work on that. I just say you need to work more on like different elements, just add them on top or something, contrast them, pitch one part of the bass up, do what you have to do. But I'm usually pretty critical on these kinds of songs with one bass. Um, yeah, I don't like your over use of the ASIM distortion. It seems like it's a bit of a crutch for this. You can be more unique with ASIM distortion, definitely. And this may not be like exactly what you are doing, but this kind of sound is almost always like some kind of ASIM distortion. Just think about it. You can automate it. One of the tricks I did with Labyrinth is I automated the bias knob. So like I use the kilohertz distortion. They have like a bias knob there. I automated the bias knob to where the bias was like all the way up when it was mostly the low end, and when the tonal part came in the bass, I automated it off. So there's almost no bias on the actual tonal part when it came in. So I just made like a womp looking LFO, like a triangle, almost like a triangle shape, and it would keep the tonal part really clean and clear, but the low end would be really gritty still. So you can do a lot of cool stuff with ASIM distortion, but if you just slap it on and leave everything static, like have the bias turned up and just stay there, it's gonna sound boring. It's gonna get really old. So try something like that. Uh, but generally, you should be freshening up your mix more. It's just a really bland mix. You just have like the bass there. You have some drums, and that's it. Spice it up. Yes, I use the bias on here too. Everybody's using bias these days. Holy. Try automating it. It'll be fun. Automating is always something good. I don't think too much automation is a bad thing. But yeah, thank you. Good song. Notice how I didn't have really any feedback on the mixing, other than it being a bit loud, which is more like mastering, but yeah, you did a good job mixing it, so there's that. Good shit. Alright, next we have Rushdown. And they want everything but mastering. You're welcome, Quiver. Hope to see you in my next stream. I need some artists that keep me on my toes. Just some context. Intro was made this morning with not much mixing. Build up is finished and drop is just a looped 8-bar with no fills or variation. Also, the last drop utilize your gun lesson with testing flow. Okay. All right. So I guess it's pretty handicapped for mixing, but it's okay. Nice. I have some peace and quiet to write my notes down. Okay. And last drop. Okay. All right. I'll keep this pretty brief. Yeah, your intro definitely needs some work on this because everything's kind of clashing together. Um, my advice for that is just kind of like make sure every element has its place. If you have a lead playing higher up in the register, uh, you know, uh, add some EQ on that. Maybe EQ the other instruments to give more room to the high end. If there's something like an ARP that is constantly playing, make it more in the background to sit there. Uh, add some reverb to it, and just make it pretty wide. And I'm pretty sure you know anything for basses, you want to cut the low end on a lot of stuff. Um, so it sounds like you have two layers here. One layer is kind of just playing the riff, the and then you have like another layer which I feel like this is some kind of Murata song that I've heard before, but I don't think there's a name even to it. But it's just like so blown out in the mids. It makes it really hard to listen to, just as a listener. Like that layer has no high end on it at all. It's just completely obliterating the tone of the original bass that's lying underneath. Uh, just literally like cut the mids or something. Cut the mids to like 500 hertz even. Add some high end to that, because it's just completely drowning the mids. Your drums sound pretty normal for the most part. Uh, your mix, or sorry, your master's probably a bit too loud though. And here is kind of the same story. Your like bass tone, like the actual tonal part of the bass, is just overblowing everything. It's really distorted, and it's clipping. It's like clipping in the master, which you don't want that to happen. The master, you really only want the drums to be clipping, and that's it. Everything else should be like so unnoticeable and transparent that you don't even know what's going on. Yo, our submissions closed for today? No, they're still open. You can send your stuff. Can I send you a song from a friend of mine and you give your opinion? Yeah, for sure. Go ahead and do that. There should be a Patreon link on YouTube. I don't know if there is or not. You can send that there. Just sign up as a free member, and then you have access to the form to fill out. Yeah, I mean, it's it's not that much to even comment on because you said you just worked on it a little bit, which is fine. Also, damn, jury duty name. Yeah, I mean, good idea. I think your execution could definitely be better, but you did say that you just made this, so I'm not gonna be that critical on it. Your intro idea is really nice. Just needs some polishing in the mixing, uh, so that each element stands out. And yeah, I'm glad to see what else you're gonna be cooking up. On to the next one. Duly noted. Duly noted. Someone just like joined my stream saying, check out Simplifier and Company's new song. I'm not gonna do that. I'm trying to listen to my fans. Oh goodness.
All alone, I want somebody to take me home, bring on the party, turn me on, and get to know me. What you say, yeah, I'll set you free. All alone, I want
Dude, jury duty sucks. I'm not looking forward to doing that.
in the middle of the night, where you are, I just want you by my side. I like that. Only you make me feel right. Come on back. Oh, the way you get me high. I like that. All alone, I want somebody to take me home, bring on the party, turn me on, and get to know me. Yeah, I'll set you free. In the middle of the night, where you are, I just want you by my side. I like that. Only you make me feel right. Come on back. The way you get me high. I like that. In the middle of the night, where you are, I just want you by my side. Take me home, take me home, take me home, and get to know me, what you see, yeah, I'll set you free. Get to know me,
Bro. Dude, it just sounds like it's copied and pasted 3 times. Like I've heard the same phrases like 3 times at least. The drums are in the same spot, all the fills are in the same spot. The only difference is the vocals. So this is a really disappointing arrangement. It's really repetitive. Um, the other things, I mean, the bass is super duper muddy. Your bass is giving me a headache. It's not sitting where a bass should be sitting. Your vocals are really quiet as well for this being a vocal centric track. They're not at the level they should be. They should be much louder and more present in the mix. Um, Also, you do like this thing where your vocals are pitched down an octave, and you don't do any compensation for like the low end at all because it's occupying that low end and causing problems with your bass and your kick, but you're not high passing it or side chaining it or anything. So it's just there sitting, causing trouble in the low end. So I don't get that part. But I don't really have anything else to talk about this. It literally is just a copy and paste song, sadly. Still though, thank you for submitting and hope that feedback helped. On to the next one. Got Jocks. Jocks. I heard the most typical house are kind of usually didn't have that much variation, right? House doesn't have that much variation. You're really correct about that. They're pretty repetitive, but they still spice it up by adding like very small details. They have a lot of attention to detail, and they have a really nice groove too usually. And they're also not that long. Like when they have a repetitive part of the song, they play it 2 times max. I'm a big fan of house, but even that I found really annoying. Alrighty. Alright, we're alright, okay.
You tell him I got
Nutella. Honestly, like, pretty good. Damn. This is another drop drafts kind of stuck, so I gotta ask you. Okay. First of all, Nutella. Make it Nutella themed. Easy. Okay, the main thing I was thinking of is the snare. It sounds like you're layering snares on top of each other, which don't do. It makes it really messy and just not pleasant. Angel Eva. Hello there. I think another thing on the sound design, your gun base, the laser part is really dry. It could use some reverb maybe. Yeah, I feel the snare was stupid. Is that true? Yeah, I gotta admit, yeah. It sounds like a really old school style snare because a lot of people back then would like layer snares on top of each other, and it would just make it sound really squishy and just indistinct. You know if what I mean? Like it sounds like it's there, but you don't really know what kind of sound it doesn't really sound like a snare. It just sounds like it's like you're squishing on something, like you're stepping on a sponge. Squishy is the best way I can describe it. What about DK snare? That can work. Also, some sample packs they just literally just combine two snares together and call it a new sample. So just be wary of that. You want an actual snare that has a transient body and tail. If you can identify a transient body and tail in a snare, then that's a good snare. Where can I send my song? There's a feedback submission form in my Patreon. My Patreon is free, so you can submit without paying any money. It's in the description. I dig this. I would say this drop is kind of done. Like you could literally just add a down filter and then that'll be it. Are you streaming on another platform too? Yeah, I'm on Twitch as well. I'm doing YouTube and Twitch right now. Need arrangement ideas. I think you could have an arrangement for the gun bass where it's just playing slower, like just halftime. You could also have like an alternating bass, like an alternating square 4 bass, maybe. Like blah da 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 chwa da 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 blah da 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 chwa. Something like that. Where in Patreon do I send it? There's a feedback submission form. It should be one of the newest posts. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything else to say about this. Um, it's your song at the end of the day, so I'm not gonna tell you how to make music. But yeah, let's thank you for submitting. I thought it was pretty good. You did a good job with what you had. This one's two people. Strobes and Phantom House. I wanted to know what you think on it and if you have a tune that would with that vibe somewhere. If I had a tune. Okay, well since you didn't ask for feedback, I'm just gonna play the parts that I think are interesting and then leave it at that. Sounds good, Jocks. Yeah, I mean, well made, good mixing, well mastered, good sound design. Kind of reminds me of Dr. Ozzy a little bit, the way they use like organic drum samples and just had like that really reverb sound. I don't know, it had like a really unique sound, like dry drums and really really wet basses that are full of stereo width, but not a lot of like other transits from anything else besides the drums. As far as like songs that are like this that I have, I don't know. Um, the one that comes to mind immediately is my song Wildcat. It's pretty old, but nothing like recent that I can think of that's like this. That's about it. Yeah, good stuff. I like it. Send me a song that's work in progress so I can give feedback on it. Maybe it could be even better. Har har har. All right, we have Savra. There's only one is song structure advice. Okay. Oh, Angel, you submitted in the wrong place, but I have it, so I'm just gonna give feedback on it. There's like a literal Google form that you can use. It's posted in the Patreon. It's no worries. It's fine. I stopped making music and I and now I make tattoos and logo designs. Damn, bro. And that's really cool too. A lot of people who do tattoos seem to have a lot of fun. It's like a dream job. As far as I know, like for artists that like do drawings and stuff, that's the usual place they go. Is they start making tattoos. So there are a lot of creative people in that field that are really talented. That's sick, dude. All right, let's try some Sovereign. Yo, what's up?
DJ
Okay, for just song switcher advice, I think it sounds fine. You asked if the B part should be a second drop or still be in the first drop. I think it sounds fine with the A and B here. Totally fine to me. Like, there's no issue with that at all. It has like a very similar timbre, similar flow. Like everything's pretty much the same, so it's yeah, it works. The only other feedback I have for song structure is your distorted bass is way too distracting. Yeah, you're trying to like do some world building with some like suspense and spookiness, but it's all just being blown out because this huge ass bass has all this high end and energy is just playing and it's fucking covering everything up and you can't hear any cool details or intricate uh things going on in the background. So that needs to be addressed. You should probably just sweep it in or fade it in, have a low pass or something like that. And the intro goes too long without any variation. So if you did the advice I gave you on the distorted bass, like doing a sweep up with a low pass or something, just open up the filter, that could just instantly add some variation on top, and then you have more room with the high end since that bass isn't playing the entire fucking time. But yeah. The intro Reese, yes. It's I guess it is a Reese, yeah, but it's definitely just too bright and just kind of there. It's not really contributing anything. So you should just fade it in or something. Thank you for submitting. I think all for that one. And then we have one more from Angel. I'll make time for you. Gosh. that was in the song.
Talk to me like you do then. Leave me go, leave me alone. So make up your mind, make up your mind. Tell me I'm yours and tell me you're mine. Don't find another girl to ease your mind. I'm right here, baby. Don't leave me go. I'm trying. Oh no, but you.
Okay, well, I kind of get the gist of it. Um, for future reference, I don't usually play people's songs if they are just voice recordings. This is more of like geared towards producers. I'm a producer. I'm not a vocalist, so any feedback I would give would be pretty misguided. I don't really know that much about singing, so uh, just letting you know. If you have like any experience writing, like the melody you were singing, I could help with that. But from what I've heard, uh, your your singing is pretty decent, pretty good actually. Your writing, I think, the melodies, if you wrote it, it was pretty inconsistent. There wasn't like a hook that I heard clearly. Um, the lyrics, I didn't hear a lot of the lyrics, but that's so I was focusing on like the melody mostly. Um, yeah, but when you're singing like a song like this, you want a really strong hook. It just kind of seems like it was just a verse. Sorry, I don't know why I'm like not speaking well today. It was just like a verse that was continuing and going on. There needs to be a hook. Think of any other artist that does like vocal work. They have a chorus, and that chorus usually has a really nice repetitive structure. Um, something that someone can like hum easily or remember the lyrics really easily. Yeah, I was lucky just venting TBH. I just want to know if the emotions are coming through because I'm showing this to this guy. Oh, you're trying to impress a guy with this, or is like someone that you already know, or like, well, I don't know what to say about that. All I can comment on is just really the vocal and melody writing. I don't know anything else about that, but for what it is, it's pretty good. Yeah, I don't really have anything to say about this. Sadly, I wish I could. I wish I was more of a vocalist so I could have some benefit. Because people submit a lot of their vocals on stream, and I just don't have the expertise on doing vocals. Anyways, let's move on. We have Maziu, and thank you for submitting, by the way. See you are welcome. I'm also not. I'm just fucking stupid. I'm trying to talk too fast. Oh shit. What'd I even do? Wait, I need to read your thing first. Oh, yes, yes. Producing for 1 year. Mixing, mastering, sound design. First EDM beat I make. Like some guidelines. Okay. So you're like pretty new. Just some general feedback. Sure thing. Oh boy. Okay. Not bad for producing for a year. Okay. So EDM stuff. There's so much misleading content about music production just in general. Uh do not look at like these super duper beginner videos because anyone that has made music for even 3 years can make a beginner video, and they almost always pass on awful information. I can speak from experience, and I've seen even some of my friends get wrapped into this as well. um, you think you're hot shit for like 3 years and you don't learn anything because everybody gasses you up, and you get caught up in these like YouTube zones where everybody is just kind of like an amateur beginner. You need to find like really good material and teachers that know what they're talking about. Um, the recommendations I have, and this is kind of good because you're doing drum and bass, and the person I'm going to recommend does a lot of drum and bass. But look at the people who actually know what they're talking about. One of them, uh, write down the name, is Dan Larson. I can just put that in notes. Dan Larson is the maker of. Wait, why did it say Dan Larson? Oh my gosh. Wait, is that. Wait, not Dan Larson. Fuck. Let's synthesize command. It has like his name is also Dan. This guy. I like said fucking Dan Larson. It's Dan something.
Akov is known for tearing up the Neuro drum and bass scene, but lately he's been dropping these filthy, groovy, almost cheeky little Neuro breaks. Simple sound but insane energy and clever little tricks that make it all snap together. Because that is very simpler because on a pretty high range.
I don't know what his name is, but this guy. Let's synthesize. This guy is one of the best production YouTubers out there. Really fucking good. Some other ones that are good for like sound design stuff. Excellent Sound is pretty decent for like more complex sound design.
A piece of art.
They like do tutorials mostly on shit.
When you invest,
But mainly stick to those two. Honestly, they'll give you a good foundation. Even Odd Profit is pretty decent. A lot of Serum 2 stuff. A lot of sound design, mostly sound design actually. This is more complex stuff. What's the other guy? Fuck. Zen World. This guy. This guy's just done content for so long. So he's pretty reputable, and he's pretty good at what he does. So, lesson size, excellent, sound, Zen World. Just kind of hit all those notes of like production EDM. Those are most like all sound design people. What's one for like melodic writing? There's so many. I do like someone will probably come up. Oh, Hack Music Theory. These people are really nice.
Find yourself
These guys are really good for writing actual melodies and chord progressions. Very useful. And last but not least, if you're willing to look through like long live streams that are more general information, Virtual Riot does a lot of these videos. It's kind of mixed in with regular music, but he does a lot of sound design stuff too. Like you can see some here, like how he sidechains is really important. How he does percussions, EQ stuff, presets, vital, all the stuff. Virtual Riot is one of them. And then last but not least, I gotta rep my boy Nasco. Just what I search up that. Okay. Okay. Right. I guess he just doesn't have a YouTube channel. Fuck. Okay, well, on his channel, he has like a bunch of tutorials too. So those are all the ones that I recommend. So go check them all out. It'll help your production game a lot. If anybody says they have a secret sauce, just ignore that advice because there is no secret sauce. The secret sauce is knowledge. And that is all. Yeah, thank you all for coming and watching me talk about bullshit. Glad I could talk to people and make their music sound better. So yeah, thank you all for coming by, and I will see you next week. And for those that are on my Patreon paid members, I'll see you Saturday. And also, you'll be seeing a big sample pack coming up. It's at the end of the month, so I should get that done pretty soon. So keep your eyes out for that. Alrighty, see you guys.